This is the Johnny's Pizza House Friday Night Blitz, brought to you by Car Giant Auto Group.
Welcome back to the Johnny's Pizza House Friday Night Blitz, presented by Car Giant. We're now joined by Airline head coach Justin Scoggin. And Coach, you're here tonight because you had a pretty good night last night against Captain Shreve. Let's hop into the highlights right now and kind of talk you through this game. Obviously, this district, so much fun for us. Probably not as much fun for you having to coach against these teams. But Ben Taylor, Coach, talk about a special talent, only a sophomore. What makes him one of the more exciting underclassmen in the Architects?
Man, it's his hard work. You know, Ben, you know, he's from the very beginning, when he was battling out for the job. I mean, it was just, you know, he comes in every day, he wants to learn. He is, you know, he's all about the team. He works hard in the weight room. Just everything he does is just kind of top of the line.
Now, Coach, we see Captain Shreve scoring here. That made it 35-14. Maybe enough time left for a comeback, but you guys closed the door here. Bob Patterson, what does that say about your team? You know, you guys, you don't let teams get back in it.
Man,
that's what it's been these last 3 weeks.
I will say this, man, as a head coach, you never stop. You never stop looking at the clock, because you know you always think like, oh man, this is their opportunity. They're going to come back and they're going to. So I mean, you never really know. I mean, it's just kind of, you know, you have to learn and. You know, when to put the JV in and when to, you know, do certain things. But I mean, it's just, you know, learning and being in two situations early on. It's been difficult for me because, yeah, I mean, you never want to be a part of that. You know, where you say, oh man, y'all remember in 2022 when Airline blew that 35-point lead to so and so. You know, so I mean, we knew, you know, going back down, there was still enough time on the clock and all that. To where we felt, you know, the need to go down and score one more time, and we did, and then it was, you know, we were able to kind of kneel it out in the end, which is always fun. But you know, just overall, just a fantastic night for our program and our fans and the kids. And you know, I told them at the end of the day, man, it's exciting that those guys get to go through and experience something like that. And you know, it only gets more fun the further along we go. And
Coach, you keep using that word "learn." Obviously, you've learned a lot about your team, and your team has learned a lot. Talk about those first 3 weeks. I know we've talked about it in the past. You know, just kind of getting past the turnovers. You were turning over the ball a lot. Yeah. Seems like you guys have kind of gotten past that hump. But just take us through the progression of your team through these first 6 weeks.
You know, I mean, I always tell people you can't replicate game reps. You know, you can't. There's no way you can turn the lights on and invite people. You can do whatever you want to do, but the pressure of the game is always going to supersede anything that you do. And I mean, it's so hard to kind of replicate that stuff. So you just have to go out. You have to, you know, try to prepare them as good as they can. And you know, when things go bad, they don't know what to look for. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go and what to say and who to look at. And you know, we kind of figured a little bit out at North DeSoto, and then Union Parish. It was kind of like the deal of, hey, look, well, we're not that bad, you know. Like, we just have a few. And then we go to Northwood, and it's like we're right there. And then we explode, and it's just kind of like the kids are like, you know, we can, you know. And I told them going into it, I said, look, y'all have to believe that we can beat Captain Shreve. You know, I said it's all up to y'all. And man, they took the challenge on full speed, man, and it was impressive.
Now, Coach, before we get into some other 1-5A matchups, what is it about, I guess, the alumni support that you've seen? We love to fall in love with the storylines. You guys are obviously one of them, this 3-0 start. You don't want to look too far ahead, but it's got to be awesome to see the tradition surrounding Airline kind of buy into this team and the alumni base buy into what you guys are building as one of the special teams in Airline history. Yeah, I mean, you know, you try to kind of stay away from all that stuff, but you know, I think probably the highlight of my whole the whole 6-7 months that I've been here was when we showed up at Benton and the game started. You know, somewhere along the line in the first, second quarter, I remember looking up into the stands and saying, oh my gosh, like, all these people are here for an 0-3 team. And it just kind of clicked that, holy cow, I mean, just regardless of, you know, win, lose, or draw, those guys are going to come. And there's so many people that support Airline High School, and they love Airline High School. And, you know, we just want to go out there and just, you know, I'm all about doing things the right way. And, you know, not only do we want to go out and score, you know, try to score 100 points every week, but we want to make sure that we don't have personal fouls and stuff like that. You know, just the small things that, you know, that mean a lot to the alumni, you know, the people that went to school there. And, you know, just that was kind of crazy to see all the fans there at Benton. You know, we're 0-3 and we're struggling, and you know, man, they just showed up in droves to come watch us play, and it was, man, that was special.
when you're lighting the scoreboard up like you guys are, it's going to be hard to park on Viking Drive for a very long time.
Yeah,
that's going to be my guess. So
Yeah.
let's stay in District 1-5A here. Another game from last night, Parkway versus Southwood, and this Parkway team, the only undefeated team left in this district, and we talk about them every single week. But these Panthers, so far this year, going down to the wire with Haughton, what have you seen from this Parkway team that kind of makes them the cream of the crop so far?
I mean, they find ways to win. I mean, they haven't really, I guess, been tested all that much. But, one, they're big up front on both sides. They have a huge offensive line. They have a huge defensive line. They have the running back that just kind of flies everywhere. And their quarterback is a lot better than people think. From the very first time I saw him, I remember thinking, golly, this kid's good. He spins it, man. The ball comes out of his hand well. He throws a great ball, and just, having the little fast running back, that runs for so many yards, people kind of tend to not, focus on the quarterback, but the quarterback is very solid. That's kind of the first thing I look at. But the quarterback is really good. I think that's something that, people overlook. That guy can beat you throwing the ball, or they can hand it to two behind these just gigantic offensive linemen. And so they've done a good job of building it up, the way they want to do it. And, it's a fun time to be down there right now.
Just real quick, you talked about Ashton Martin. You don't see this a lot in high school, especially through 6 weeks. He's completing over 70% of his passes in high school. That's not something that's very common. That's going to be a very fun game here in a couple of weeks, at least for us.
Yeah, I mean, like I told our kids, I said, somebody was saying the student section was chanting, I was like, look, I just want Haughton. I've done this long enough to know that, there's nobody in this district that just can just show up and win. Haughton is a very good team. Byrd is a very good team. And then, if we're lucky to have played 2 more good games, it will be a fun game. But 110% of my attention is on Haughton this week because, now that you say it, I guess it is 2 weeks away. I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you week by week. But no, I'm not looking ahead. We're not looking ahead to anything. We're looking to Haughton because, Haughton, was right there with Parkway 17-14, and then they obviously beat Byrd tonight, with a very good, the kid from Byrd's a backup quarterback, but he's every bit as able as the starter. So, I mean, look, we're going to have our hands full with Haughton, and, that's what we're going to be locked in on.
Like you said, Coach, student section chanting, "We want Parkway." Most of the time when you hear we're focused on next week, it is coach speak, but there's good reason not to overlook Haughton. We saw why tonight as the Buccaneers go on the road to leave. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Look, most of the time it is, look, 2 weeks from now, you guys got a big game. Haughton is proving that they, like Wesley said earlier tonight, they're a blocked field goal away from being 3-0. Yeah. Not many people thought that they'd be in this position preseason. Colin Raines is such an improved passer, and that defense is stout. What is it about Haughton that makes them so dangerous?
I mean, obviously it starts with the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback, I think, is the guy that kind of steers the ship. And, the defense, obviously, people downplay their defense, but after watching film on them, I couldn't understand why anybody would downplay. They're well coached. They line up right. They do a lot of good stuff. They move, they slant, they stunt, they do all this stuff. And then turn around on offense, and the guy runs. He'll catch the ball, and if he doesn't like it, he'll run around for a few minutes, and then he'll just throw it 85 yards down the field to somebody that's wide open.
He's got a linebacker, tight end body, and he's coming downhill at you. That's no fun.
He comes downhill, and I mean, when you get back there to try to sack guys like that, it's kind of like trying to tackle Daxton Chavez. I mean, those guys are so big and they're so hard to wrap up and tackle and all that stuff. So I mean, the challenge this week is wild because we're going to face a guy that can run around and can still make plays downfield, which is in high school football is hard. Just for guys to kind of be able to scramble around and just make plays and stuff like that. So I mean, when you got a guy like that, your offense is extremely dangerous.
Yep. So let's move along into District 1-5A, as actually, Coach, let's go to District 1-2A, shall we? Loyola and Green Oaks, the Giants and the Flyers getting together. Coach, Mike Green, really a legend in this area and what he's been able to do. The Flyers get a big win over Green Oaks last night. Just from what you've heard, obviously he's a guy who's been in your shoes. He's been at Airline. Just, have you gotten to know Coach Green in your time here?
No, I was here 5 years before, and I just, there was just a handful of people I never really got a chance to get to know, and he was one of them. But, I think his, his coaching ability kind of, precedes itself by, you look at Loyola and you look at Airline when he was there, and you look at all the other various places. The one common theme is, one, they can play on both sides of the ball and they win. So, I mean, I haven't really got the chance to meet him, but, I've always been impressed with the teams he puts on the field. And that's, that's something special, because there are people on the flip side of that.
Right. I mean, these coaches who have been around for so long, Mike Green's one of them in this area. Who are some of the coaches that you look up to and you say, I want to get to that level one day?
Oh, I mean, obviously, Coach Feaster is, I've been with him, a long time, and we're good friends, and we still talk a lot. And, he's the guy I looked up to the most in this profession. But, there's guys out there like Rodney Ewan, who was at, when I was at Haughton, when he was at Haughton and I was at Parkway, he treated me just kind of, like one of the guys. And, I was always very appreciative of that, just the good guys in the profession, that were just, around when I was just a little bitty guy that nobody knew of. And, Bo Meeks was another one. Bo was a great guy. He always took time to talk to me and stuff like that. But, Rodney Ewan and obviously Coach Feaster, around this area are two of the guys that, luckily I'm able to call them friends, but they're obviously two pretty good guys to be able to talk to, whenever I need to.
We've talked about some legendary coaches. We know they could coach. We know you can coach. Maybe one day, I don't know, maybe one of your assistants is talking about you this way.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we've got plenty from Coach Scoggin left in the remainder of the show. Let's go to some scoreboards real quick. Some more scores from across the Arklatex. Let's go to Texas, John. Carthage doing Carthage things. 49-0 over Canton tonight.
Wascom is still undefeated in district, which is crazy to think after the slow start they had. They're 3-0 with a 54-19 over Queen City.
Harleton, 61-6.
Good for the Wildcats. Happy for the Wildcats. Hallsville is, I think, the biggest surprise of East Texas. I mean, they've got 2 losses, but they've got some big wins. They win tonight over Nacogdoches.
Putting themselves in position in that district, too.
They sure are.
Potentially play Texas High for that district championship. More scores.
Texas High does already have the win over them.
Okay,
so
that'll do it.
That'll do it. More scores?
More scores.
Yeah.
Staying in Texas.
Whoa!
Dangerfield, 70 points, 73-6 over New Diana.
Look, real quick, if I'm one of those people that I'm waiting for Dangerfield to hit their stride, they told me to be quiet tonight.
I think they may have started.
Yeah, they may have started. DeKalb 39-27. The Bears having a good season.
Yes, they challenged Hallsville for the best story. Only one loss for DeKalb so far. And then Pittsburgh, they're in the win column. 31-12 over North Lamar.
And
put the rabbit ears on the helmet.
They're doing it. Atlanta 42-7 over Sabine. The storybook season continues for them. And the Friday Night Blitz continues after the break.
Woo!